will only be talking about the story of Brick Bronze in this video. That means no controversy or anything like that, no Lumion Legacy related stuff, only PvP story. Also, I'm gonna have to use a lot of clips from Think Noodles because the game got deleted, so obviously I can't record new footage, so shoutouts to him, I guess. He's a pretty small content creator, he definitely needs the shoutout. Alright, so, what was Pokemon Brick Bronze? Well, it's an old Roblox game made by a small team of devs that was created on October 16th, 2015. That's the general consensus anyways. The game starts you off at a place called Midastown, which is located in a region called Ruria. First thing you do is enter your name, talk to your parents, choose your starter, fight your rival, you know, classic Pokemon stuff. Your parents eventually give you a bronze brick, whoa, almost like that's the name of the game, and then you go off fighting trainers on Route 1. Things really start hitting the fan though, and Professor Cypress, remember him for later, tells you that your parents got kidnapped by Team Eclipse, which is basically Team Rocket. You and your best friend Jake, who I forgot to mention is your rival by the way, go on to Cheshma Town without looking into it too much, and uh-oh. What's this? Some random girl stole your necklace. Yeah, it turns out she's part of Team Eclipse, so just fight her and move on. Not much excitement in this town. Next up is Sylvan City, where you fight Chad to get your first badge. Sick, now you're one step closer to becoming the champion. Anyways, moving on into Route 5, you have your second rival fight. A bit more challenging than the first one, but pretty fun regardless. You also get the running shoes on this route. Next town is Brimber, the fire-type gym. This place is a lot more interesting because there's a whole side quest tied in with the main story where Team Eclipse tries to summon Groudon within a volcano to help them take over the world, but luckily you come in and beat them to a pulp, so they don't pull something dumb like that again. Foreshadowing. After beating Sebastian, the Brimber City gym leader, we move on to Route 7, where it turns out there's a bunch of Bidoofs who've blocked your path by raising the water level with a dam. Damn, that sucks. Guess you gotta fight him. And once you do, the path to Laguna Lake opens up. There's no gyms here, there isn't even any story stuff here actually. This town is just for the daycare, the old rod, and UMB dives, which are essentially the underground from Diamond, Pearl, and Platinum. On to Route 8, where Jake, who is your rival by the way, did I mention that he's your rival? He's your rival. Anyways, he joins you to double battle trainers all the way down a big hill into Rose Cove City, where he holds off a member of Team Eclipse. Speaking of Team Eclipse, they're terrorizing a lighthouse keeper and his granddaughter for this mysterious blue orb which summons Kyogre, and you have to beat them again. This seems sort of familiar. Regardless, they die and Jake shows back up. He meets Tess, which we learn is the name of the lighthouse keeper's granddaughter, and let's just say Jake really likes Tess, and she ends up tagging along with us on our journey. After this though, we need to fight the water-type gym leader, Quentin, and then we're on to Route 9, the best route in the game, where we have to fight Jake. And guess what? Now we have a new rival in Tess, who's a dragon-type trainer that you have to fight right after Jake without healing. Hope you brought a fairy type. Remember how I said Route 9 was the best route? Yeah, well let me explain why. Not only is the music in it the best in the game, but you have 3 paths to choose from. You can go to the right to catch Jirachi and a few other Pokemon, straight to catch a Rotom and a bunch of other ghost types, or left to continue the story, and while I could sit here and talk about this route all day, it's time to move on. Following the aforementioned path to the left, we reach Route 10, where it seems a curious Absol has been following us. Now, that's not a good sign because I don't know if you knew this, but Absol is known as the Disaster Pokemon, so that title alone should give you an idea of why it's bad news. Moving on, we head through Kragnos Cliffs for a ride to Anthean City, which is a massive city with a whole bunch of things. You thought Route 9 was impressive? Well, prepare to be blown away. We got a clothing shop, hoverboard shop, stone shop, Pokeball shop, which is actually where we're heading, and an arcade. There's a few other things too, but they're much less interesting, like the sushi stick for example. I doubt many people think that that was one of the defining features of Anthean City. Once at the Pokeball shop, we meet Gerald, who is an old friend of Tess's grandfather. We ask him if he knows anything that might help us on our journey, and luckily he does. He tells us about a prison bottle that our parents found and that Team Eclipse tried to steal it one time, and then he's going to do more research to help us. Meanwhile, we go fight the flying-type gym leader Steven for our 4th badge, meaning we're halfway to becoming the champion. You also get fly here. Makes sense because it's the flying-type gym and all. Okay, so at this point in the game, things start to get a little confusing, so I'll try to explain everything in the most accurate way possible. Team Eclipse is back causing trouble in Anthean City again, and Jake has gone off on his own to try and take them down. Meanwhile, Tess comes back and explains the situation to you and Gerald, and shortly after, you enter the sewers along with her to hopefully take them down. After successfully doing so, we leave the sewers and find Jake surrounded by Team Eclipse members. Nice job, Jake. They explain that they're going to kidnap Jake, and do you remember Professor Cypress?
Well, it turns out he's actually the leader of Team Eclipse. I bet you didn't see that coming. They then shoved Jake onto their ship, but do you remember that Absol from earlier? Well, guess what? It's back, and it wants to help you fight Professor Cypress. But that's not all. It also has a Mega Stone. After beating Professor Cypress, he gives you a key to the Energy Core room, where he reveals that he has planted a bomb. Can we pause for a second? This is some pretty intense stuff, right? I mean, sure. Team Galactic tried to erase the whole universe. Team Magma and Aqua tried to flood the world with magma and water respectively, which are both much worse things to do, don't get me wrong, but neither have publicly admitted to mass terrorism on a citywide scale. Right? Anyways, moving on. Professor Cypress then leaves on his massive spaceship, and then Dialga and Palkia show up right after Tess points out your necklace started to glow. They transport you back into the sewers and stop time so you can get to the core and prevent it from being blown up. After doing so, you get teleported back out. Once you're out, Gerald meets up with you and explains that the bronze brick that your parents gave you all the way back at the very start of your journey is the key to releasing Hoopa, which is the main plot point of the game. He then gives you a Skytrain pass to get to Aradia City where the 5th gym is located, but before beating it, you need to help the prince get his jewel back from Team Eclipse, who has stolen it. The city itself isn't really that interesting. I mean, there's a few things you can do here, there's a Snorlax you can catch, there's also Victini, but other than that, it's a pretty empty town. But the gym leader, oh, I don't know about you guys, but for some reason, when I had initially played this game, I got destroyed by this gym. I don't know why this specific gym was so hard for me, but it was. Anyways, after beating the leader slash Prince Ryan, we get the 5th badge. Our next stop is Floroma City, which looks awfully familiar. Anyways, almost nothing happens here. There's a grass gym, which means gym badge number 6 from Fissy, and then we go straight to the next city. Oh wait, never mind, Team Eclipse is here. Oh my god, is that Jake? Yeah, so Jake got brainwashed by Team Eclipse into helping them fight you, and you gotta beat his Pokemon. But once you do, you move on to the next city, which is Frostvale. Can you guess which gym is here? I bet you can't. That's right, it's the Dark-type gym. Not an Ice-type gym. Anyways, same as Floroma City, there's almost nothing here. After beating Zeke and obtaining your second to last badge, however, you do fight Tess again though, and my god, this is a tough fight. Forget the gym leaders, Tess is the real Nuzlocke killer. After murdering all her pet dragons, we move on to Port Deca, where we immediately get Surf. Wow. Okay. Alright, well, thanks to Surf, we can now get to the next gym, which is actually on an island called Crescent Island, totally separated from the rest of Roria near the east coast. This island is also where Team Eclipse's main base is located, so you have to enter it and beat all the grunts to try and free your parents, along with Tess, who's apparently also been captured.
Fine. I'll do it myself.
Beating Jake one final time, you run after Team Eclipse all the way down to Demon's Tomb. What a name. Where it's revealed that this was part of Team Eclipse's plan the whole time. Professor Cypress takes your bronze brick and summons Hoopa, and then you have to fight him one last time as well. Once you win, Jake throws him into the Hoopa ring, so it turns out he wasn't brainwashed this whole time, but rather he was working undercover while gathering info and waiting for the right time to revolt against them. Sadly though, Jake tries to save Tess from getting knocked into the ring and instead ends up getting knocked in himself. After that though, you finally get to fight Hoopa. You can catch it if you're skilled enough, or if your team is practically dead from the Professor Cypress battle, the latter being more likely. You might just have to lose it and try again. Once you catch Hoopa, hopefully instead of killing it, the Looker introduces himself to you and explains that he's from another universe and that Absol that was helping you wasn't just some random wild Absol, but it was his. He tells you that he can find Professor Cypress and his goons, as well as Jake, hopefully, and then just tells you to not think about it too much and go to bed, which you end up doing. Sadly though, as far as the actual story goes, that's pretty much it. You can fight the 8th gym after this and get the badge from Captain B, but there's not much else that we hear from Jake and Tess. Of course, that's understandable because the game got deleted shortly after the final update. Even I only found out about the ending myself while making this video. Hopefully this video can give you some sort of closure on the story of Brick Bronze, because I know it did for me. Anyways, this is the end. I hope you guys enjoyed, and I'll see you next time.
Hey, thanks for watching to the end of the video. I just wanted to make something as a quick thank you to everyone who supported me over the past few months. It took a lot longer than I thought it would, but I hope you enjoyed regardless. Anyways, I'm excited to make more content for you guys in the future, so maybe subscribe. Anyways, that's it. I'll see you next time. Goodbye.